She thought selling her privacy online was her lowest moment. She was wrong. The real fall was still coming, one bathtub, one notification, and one secret at a time. While browsing an obscure website, a girl was stunned to discover that simply uploading private videos could earn her subscriptions and tips from strangers. So she made a reckless decision. She created an account under the name Evil Ghost, filmed a private clip of her everyday life on her phone, and uploaded it. At first, she was only testing the waters. She never imagined that, while bathing her own child, she would receive her very first subscription alert.
Oh my fuck.
I have a fan!
Congratulations on stumbling into this bold, highly rated story in your moment of aimless scrolling. Mark is broke. In this first chapter, our heroine is Margo, a freshman who has just stepped into college life. Bright, talented, and carrying a quiet dream of becoming a writer, she has no idea that one conversation is about to change the course of her life forever. 40-year-old literature professor Mark kept her behind after class, alone.
I do not plagiarize. I wrote that.
After hearing Margo's confident answer, Mark leaned in and asked the second question.
Why are you here? This paper is excellent. Why are you at Fullerton College? You can go anywhere.
Yeah, right. Like Harvard.
It turned out Mark admired her writing more than she realized, even telling her she belonged at a far more prestigious school. That praise, that quiet encouragement, planted something dangerous in the heart of a girl who lived for literature. Later, Margo confided in her closest friend that the professor had asked her out for coffee. Her friend warned her instantly to be careful, because a married professor inviting a female student out alone rarely meant anything innocent. But Margo brushed it off. She knew he was married. She told herself she understood the games grown men played. She believed she had simply found a kindred spirit, and she was certain she would never cross the line.
I'm not.
But that certainty was nothing more than a mask she wore for her best friend. However clear-headed she claimed to be, she was still young, and she could not resist the pull of temptation and the thrill of something forbidden. In the end, the two of them crossed the line together. Margo rushed to share the news with her friend, but instead of celebrating, her friend begged her to walk away immediately. The married man even joked that she should use the affair as leverage, threatening the professor into recommending her to the university where he himself studied, in New York.
We have real professors here, by the way, who are more into teaching than getting into their students' pants.
Fuck off.
Margo's feelings for Mark were tangled up with her own past. Raised by a single mother, she had grown up without a father's love, and in Mark she finally felt the warmth of an older man's attention, something she had been missing for years. That is why, even knowing the danger, she walked straight toward it anyway. But she was too young, too inexperienced to protect herself, and before long Margo discovered she was pregnant. Panic swallowed her whole. She tested herself again and again with pregnancy strips, until the same result appeared every single time, forcing her to accept the truth. Not knowing what else to do, she told the professor. But how could a man with a wife and children ever agree to keep this baby? Claiming he only wanted what was best for her future, he simply handed her the name of a clinic where she could end the pregnancy. Margo felt a flicker of disappointment in him, but what choice did she truly have? At the hospital, the doctor examined her and discovered she was already about 10 weeks along. The outline of the baby and its heartbeat were unmistakable. After asking what she wanted to do, the doctor printed her an ultrasound photo. Staring down at that thumb-sized life on the page, Margo felt the tears begin to fall. In the end, she could not bring herself to end this small life growing inside her. Margo told her mother everything, and her mother's eyes filled with quiet, helpless despair.
God damn it, you were in college. You were gonna be somebody.
Who was I gonna be?
You know what I mean? You were gonna have a career and you were gonna, do things.
What things?
Whatever you wanted.
As a single mother herself, she understood better than anyone how brutal it was to raise a child alone. She tried desperately to talk her daughter out of this decision, but one sentence from Margo left her speechless.
You kept me. A one-night stand from a guy who picked you up at Hooters. I mean, what would possess you?
Fate has a cruel way of repeating itself. Years earlier, the mother had fallen for a married man of her own. Though she eventually walked away and rebuilt her life, that chapter had shaped who she became. With her mother by her side, Margot's belly grew rounder with each passing week. Then one day on the street, they came face to face with the professor, a man who had gone silent for months, now walking with his wife and children on their way into a shopping mall. Margot's mother clenched her jaw, ready to march over and strike the man down, but Margot stopped her. She wanted to speak to him herself. Still holding on to some sense of decency, she did not expose their secret outright. Instead, she chose her words with care.
Do you remember?
I do.
She was very disappointed by her final grade. She felt you treated her unfairly.
Honey, you want to just go inside for a sec?
Sure thing.
After quietly sending his wife and children ahead, Professor Jack rounded on Margot, accusing her of stalking him. He reminded her coldly that he had already told her to end the pregnancy, and demanded to know if she had come to make him take responsibility.
Do you want me in this baby's life? Is that what this encounter is about? If it even is my child?
His words shattered whatever hope was left in Margot's heart, and in that moment, she finally saw the truth of who this man really was. She had never asked for much, perhaps just one word of concern, one apology, something to prove her love had not been a mistake. But his cruelty crushed even that small wish. So Margot decided, from that moment on, she would not rely on him for a single cent. She would raise this child completely on her own. But her resolve was far stronger than her circumstances. Her mother had her own work to manage, and simply had no time to help care for mother and newborn.
You got this.
For a woman with absolutely no experience, it was almost impossible to imagine how exhausting it would be to raise a child alone. Every hour of every day demanded constant attention, soothing endless crying without knowing if the baby was hungry or sick, calling doctors over video out of sheer worry, and not even knowing how to properly change a diaper.
Are you okay? Are you all right?
I'm great.
And with diapers alone costing hundreds of dollars, how could someone with no income possibly keep up? All she could do was cry alone in the middle of the night, and once the tears stopped, force herself to get back up and keep going. Desperate, Margot finally called the person she trusted most, her mother, begging her to watch the baby just long enough for her to find work. No one understood her pain the way her mother did, and despite the sacrifice, she agreed to help ease her daughter's burden. But nothing about this would prove simple. Freed from her child for the first time in weeks, Margot felt a flicker of her old confidence return. She moved through her shift at the restaurant with ease, savoring a rare taste of freedom. Then her manager told her someone was waiting for her outside. Confused, she stepped out, only to find her mother standing there, the baby cradled in her arms.
I can't. He won't stop crying, and I just can't.
So you brought him here?
I tried calling, you wouldn't pick up.
Oh my God.
The baby's constant crying had worn the grandmother down to her breaking point. Insecure and stubborn, she convinced herself the child simply did not want her, that she was not fit to be a grandmother, and she left with nothing but a whispered apology. Things only got worse when the restaurant owner decided that a baby at work would hurt business and fired Margot on the spot. She tried applying elsewhere afterward, but no employer wanted to hire a mother with an infant, even when she promised to find someone else to watch the child. With her situation growing more desperate by the day, she had no choice but to return to the child's biological father. This time, she was not there to beg. She was there to demand child support.
You will give me $3,000.
After all, if word of this ever got out, it would destroy both his career and his family. But rather than face her himself, he handed the entire matter over to his own mother. Her solution was cold and calculated. They would give the child a check for $50,000, but the money would be locked inside a trust fund until the child turned 18. By then, that $50,000 with interest would grow to $300,000. The one condition was absolute. Margot could never contact the professor again.
Do you agree?
I agree.
For the sake of the child's future, Margot agreed to the terms. But that left the far more immediate crisis unresolved. It was around this time that she stumbled, almost by accident, upon a way to make money through a niche website. All it required was uploading videos and chatting with fans, and the payouts were surprisingly generous. Margo knew this was not exactly respectable work, but as a mother with no one left to turn to, she felt she had no other option. Fortunately, her youth and beauty worked in her favor, and she genuinely began earning real money. But as her following grew larger and her popularity rose higher, it did not take long before her mother and her friends discovered exactly what kind of work she had been doing.
It is about losing the respect of every single person who would ever help your sorry ass, even a little bit.